Hi, I'm Auntie Tam, and I talk about mental health issues and some life advice as well. And today, what we're going to talk about is your goals for recovery, particularly when it comes to depression. Now, I myself have been experiencing depression on and off since the age of 12. And so I understand what the process is like. I understand what it feels like to be in recovery from depression. I also experience anxiety and PTSD and OCD. So today I really want to talk about our goals for recovery. And people have asked me, so how do you set your goals for recovery? The very quick answer is you don't. Yep, you don't. Recovery, I've said before, is not a linear process. So setting goals, even especially if you are a goal-oriented person and you want to achieve certain things in a certain amount of time, that's not going to happen. Put that thought aside. That's not going to happen because recovery is not a linear experience. If you have decided to go down the route of taking medication, there are milestones, and there are milestones in general in any recovery, but you'll be able to mark the milestones like sort of 3 weeks into taking your medication, you should start to feel a little bit better. 3 months into taking medication, you should feel enormously better, and so on and so on. But that all depends on the severity of your mental illness, depends on the severity of the episode you're having. It depends on whether or not you are actually getting any additional care like counseling. Counseling is incredibly important when it comes to this. Um, Mental, physical, spiritual. That's what you're looking at. So if you want to set goals, you know, you'll be thinking probably more long term. I'm not saying that, especially if you're one of those people who like to see some sort of change. In a week from now, I want to experience this. In a month from now, I want to experience that. Get that out of your mind now because you'll be setting goals really for a year from now. So you would be saying for a year from now, I would like to be able to get back into karate or cycling or whatever it is that is your main interest. Because recovery is not linear, you'll be marking things off as you come to certain, like I said, milestones. When you start to feel better, when you start to have a little bit more energy, when you find that you're able to get out of bed and brush your teeth and get dressed and go to work, and it's not a major issue for you, it doesn't become like hectic heavy for you to do, when socializing becomes an idea you'd like to explore once again. I mean, not even actually socializing, but the idea of socializing. Um, because you are in a place where things need to move at their own pace. And when I say it's not linear, I mean that there are times where you might actually feel like you're going backwards. You're not actually going backwards, but it feels like you're going backwards. For instance, you may wake up on a day or have a week where you have no energy, you're feeling quite low again. Something may happen in your life that triggers those low feelings again. But just remember, you're not at the same place where you started. And that's one thing to keep in mind as you progress through your recovery. You are not where you started off. Where you started off was far worse than where you are now. And you are progressing forward. If you are not seeing the changes you want to see, if you are on medication and you feel it's not working or it's making you feel worse, go back to your doctor or your psychiatrist immediately. Because, as I've said before, not all medications work for all people. We are all different. We all have different ways of doing things. All have different ways of responding to medication and to therapy and to treatment. So it's important that you keep track of the changes that you are going through, especially at the beginning. Because I've said this before, but I'll tell you the story again that in the October of 2020, when I was given a drug. I won't say the name, but I was given a drug which was supposed to help alleviate the symptoms of depression. Instead, what it did was make me worse. It made me even more suicidal. It made me extremely tired. Even if I took it at night, the next day I would wake up feeling like I had cotton stuffed into my head instead of a brain. I felt exhausted. Everything was an effort. So I actually ended up feeling worse than I did when I went to the doctor. So then when that kind of thing happens, you have to go back. And that's what I did. And then I was given a different drug, which my body has accepted and responded to. Again, I won't mention the name, but the drug contains the active ingredient is paroxetine. And when I was 23, I was given this very drug, and my body had and didn't like it. It didn't do much. I mean, I was on it for 3 months and saw no difference. But now being on the drug has helped. So what has worked before may not necessarily work in the same way or at all now. So that's also something to keep in mind. What the best thing I can tell you is to continue with whatever regimen the doctor has given you or your counselor has given you. Keep following their advice, keep following their regimen. Even if it does get tough, don't give up. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not the train. I promise. So keep moving through that. Keep track of the milestones. Keep track of when you start to feel better physically, when your cognitive function starts to come back online, when you start to feel more like you want to socialize, where you feel that there are more days than not when you want to get up, get dressed, brush your teeth, brush your hair, and even, oh, hallelujah, put on makeup. These days do come, but it takes time. I cannot tell you that this is the process. In 3 weeks, this will happen. In 3 months, this will happen. In 6 months, that'll happen. In a year, that'll happen. Because we're all different. And you cannot gauge your progress on your previous depression episode or anxiety episode or whatever it is that you are experiencing, whatever mental health issue you're experiencing. You can't judge that on the previous one either, because now things are different. Just remember also that depression and trauma changes the brain, not just the chemistry in the brain, but the entire network up here is changed. So it's going to take a while for all of that to just rewire. And what I've done personally, you don't have to do this, but for me, it's been incredibly helpful to go to a neurologically based chiropractor. The whole process for me has been sped up because I am taking care of my brain by seeing a neurologically based chiropractor. Now, there are loads of ways you can take care of your brain, and we won't discuss that in this video today, but mental health is essentially brain health, if you think about it. So have a think about that. Have a think. Don't set yourself up for failure, because if you start planning that in 3 weeks, this is my goal, I want to be able to go out and socialize, and that doesn't happen, you're going to feel let down, and then you're going to go back into a downward spiral. So setting goals for your recovery, it's not like getting ready for a marathon or getting ready for a karate grading, or learning how to drive. It really isn't. You cannot set a specific goal at a specific time. There are no goals, only milestones. So watch out for that and be patient with yourself. Above all things, be patient with yourself, be patient with the process, and you will get better. If you're doing the things that need to be done to get better, drug therapy if necessary, definitely, without a doubt, therapy, counseling. There's no recovery without counseling. Therapy. So if you're doing the things that need to be done for your recovery, you will see progress. It'll be slow. You'll need to be patient, but there will be progress. I wish you well on your recovery. Remember to like and subscribe. Oh, I've never did this in. Like and subscribe. And leave a comment if you want to. And if you want any questions answered, drop them in the comments. And let's see what we can do for you. Thank you for watching. Oh dear, it's still running. Thank you for watching.